This is payback for Turkey's terror support, from trade to tourism and fashion to education. Boycott Turkey has gained momentum across sectors after the role Turkey played in India Pakistan tensions. From backing Pakistan to supplying drones, we've seen Indians choosing not to travel to Turkey as well. Visa applications significantly reduced, and even universities snap ties with institutes in Turkey. I'm, of course, joined by senior economist Mitali Nikore to decode this further. I'm also joined by Parvez Damania, who is a senior aviation expert. Thank you both for your time. We will, of course, decode all these angles. But first, for our viewers to understand what really has happened, in no chronological order, this really are the broad highlights, really, of what all has happened. The center has asked Indigo to end its aircraft lease agreement with Turkish Airlines within 3 months. Air India is clearly set to shift from Turkish Technic's maintenance work to another firm altogether. Airports are ending their agreement with Turkish aviation firm Celebi. To major fashion and grocery platforms delisting Turkish brands across e commerce and quick commerce as well, to now the Mumbai civic body scrapping a key tender to buy beach safety equipment from a Turkish company altogether. Turkey's stand during the India Pakistan conflict has also lowered their credibility among the Indian community, with calls of boycotting Turkish products echoing through the corporate corridors of the country, and Indians or people of Indian origin choosing not to visit Turkey altogether. Now, how will this move impact India and Turkey? Well, of course, my guests are going to decode all of this. Parvez Damania, first to you. How will this move, and of course, all these measures that have been taken, boost India's innovation, own production within aviation, and beyond?
First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Uh, in no sector of aviation does India remotely require Turkey. We can absolutely do everything without them. I'll come to the Celebi point later, but first you said Indigo leasing aircrafts. Indigo is a large enough operation and a very stable airline, one of the largest airline in the world. Any company will come forward to lease them aircraft. So they're not completely dependent on only Turkish Airlines to lease them aircraft. Second thing, as far as the Air India MRO, whatever setup is concerned, India is more than capable in every field of aviation. If you see today, India is the third largest aviation economy in the world, as whatever happened at the IATA conference yesterday. So we don't need them remotely. Now, coming to the main point of Celebi. Celebi is doing ground handling. They're not doing any rocket science. It's just a labor-oriented business. There are a number of very, very good companies in India that are completely capable of taking over from Celebi. There's a company called Bird Group based in Delhi. They have operations everywhere. They are doing a phenomenal job. They are servicing all airlines in a very, very good way. And it's 100% Indian-owned company. So I do not understand why in the place Celebi was given these contracts. Even before this problem arose, what was the need for us to go to a foreign company to do ground handling where all the permissions and licenses are based in India? How can a company have a security clearance? Foreign company with security clearance? Why do we need it? There are more than enough Indian companies to do this job. So it is in no way going to affect the operations at the airport or the ground handling operation. On the contrary, what has happened in Bombay? Adani has brought in a new company or an existing other ground handling, and all the labors have shifted to the new ground handling company. So not single one job is lost, not airline workers affected. So everything is running quite smoothly. So I think if these people are permanently put out of operation and work, I think it's not going to harm Indian aviation in any way. On the contrary, we made a better service, better standards, and money out of India will not flow abroad. So I think there's nothing to be concerned about. What has happened is absolutely correct. The government has taken right steps, and the airport authorities and Adani and all also done the right thing. So I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. It doesn't affect Indian aviation at all. We are 100% self-sufficient and more than capable of handling the operations ourselves.
All right. Of course, you're saying this is a further boost. Mitali, do you agree in a sense, a further boost, really more self reliance and innovation coming in? And do you feel this across sectors as well? Because remember, from trade to tourism to fashion to, of course, e commerce majors also delisting Turkish firms, we have now recently seen it all.
Absolutely, Sakshi, and I completely agree with sir. In fact, today I'm actually here with you from IGI Airport Terminal 3, and Shalabi said shed is actually just behind us. Like just 1 kilometers away from where I am, and I visited that also multiple times. I completely agree with sir that the infrastructure is completely Indian. It's only the operations that Shalabi is doing. And Boycott Group, as well as many other companies, are there across India which can come and take up this work. So it's not a loss to the Indian economy or the Indian consumer in any way. In fact, I think that the time at which a company like Shalabi was brought in, of course Indian companies were just coming up the curve, almost 10, 12 years ago, and now we are at that position where we want to make sure that our companies repair and operations or MRO. And what we really want more than anything else is that we should have more and more Indian companies provide MRO services not only for Indian aviation players, but also for foreign aviation players. Because the idea is to position Delhi and Mumbai as sort of hub airports, for the world. Where if Air India is like a hub airline for the world, like we see Emirates today, or Lufthansa today, or British Airlines today, we see that these are airlines that people take for going to multiple destinations. Air India wants to eventually position itself as that sort of an airline where Delhi and Mumbai become global hubs. And for that, we have to ramp up the capacities as well as the capabilities of Indian companies, which are well poised today to take up this for domestic companies and then start exporting these services to foreign airlines as well. So I think no time than the better to start, replacing these foreign operations with Indian operations. That's the first thing. Second, when it comes to other sectors, right, beyond airlines and beyond the announcements from, say, an Air India or an Indigo to dominate these contracts, when we look at the other sectors, again, India is a consumption, driver for Turkey. Turkey is spending their money as tourists. So if Indians no longer want to visit a country like Turkey and they don't want to purchase Turkish products, they will purchase products from anywhere else in the world. Today we have MOUs that have been signed with countries like the UK. We have a new trade deal with the UK. We have considerable interest from the US, and we also have considerable interest from UAE, for Indian tourists to come and work and set up businesses in UAE. For Indian tourists and for Indian consumers to come and work and set up businesses in UAE and to visit UAE. So there are so many opportunities and options that Indian consumers today have and Indian businesses today have to purchase from and enhance our value addition and enhance our consumer experience, as well as enhance our economy in many ways. So I think today the Indian consumer really one of the most important consumers in the world, and there are companies and countries lining up to take benefit from that. And we are also very happy to work with them. So I think it's a win-win for anyone in the world who wants to service the Indian consumer.
Absolutely. And of course, thank you for detailing that across sectors. And how will this move then, Parvez Damania, impact Turkey, given its already slumping economy, in particular the aviation sector there?
Of course, it will affect them. Today, India is such a large aviation market, and suddenly being thrown out from ground handling in all the large cities will definitely affect them. And another thing, as far as tourism is concerned, Turkey is dependent on India. India is not dependent on Turkey. The number of Indians going to Turkey, tourism, spending money, hotels, food, tourist spots is advantage to Turkey. They are not sending that many tourists. So I don't think it affects us in any way. On the contrary, it makes us more self-reliant, more powerful, and better equipped to perform better in the aviation sector, and definitely affects Turkey. I think it's a very wrong decision what they've taken, and I'm sure they must have realized it by now. And I don't think we need to be worried. And anyways, they need to be worried that they've lost such a large market like India.
Absolutely. You couldn't really sum up this discussion better. This really is the payback for Turkey's terror support. And of course, the many angles there. Thank you so much for decoding this for our viewers. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.